Hi, welcome to my channel. My name's Kelly. Today I want to talk about memories because what I do for a living is I help people tap into memories that have been suppressed or repressed, which means completely out of conscious awareness, because these are memories that are still active within their unconscious mind that are affecting their life today. And once we tap into those, what we're doing is we're bringing some kind of healing or acceptance or even reframing the memory, which means changing my client's perception of that memory so they no longer see it as a threat. Because what's happening with memories is we all have them, they're in our consciousness. As new memories come in, old memories basically feel like they're fading away because they're going deeper and deeper into the mind because the new memories are taking over. And because the conscious mind cannot hold as much information as the subconscious mind or the unconscious mind, what happens is new memories come in, old memories shift downward into the subconscious. Repressed memories, where we have complete unawareness of them, get repressed into the deeper part of the mind. Those are the type of memories that were so traumatic for us that we basically shoved them down so far. And then we also ask for protection around those memories on an unconscious level because the mind can strategically block those memories. And the reason it does that is because you really can't cope with them. So what happens with memories is when they're super traumatic, when they really pull us into some kind of fear of being able to survive, fear of not being lovable enough for the world, not being accepted by the world. These are very traumatic memories, or it could have been something we saw, like a witness of a car accident, somebody get hurt, we could have lost a pet, we could have lost a family member, there could have been some serious illness that caused us to fear losing that member, we could have been ill. So these are very traumatic memories, and they could have been repressed out of our conscious awareness, basically to protect us so that we don't have to deal with them. The problem is that they do get triggered. And what happens is something in your current environment might remind you of that memory. And even though you repressed it and you're not aware of it, something in your current environment could trigger that. And then from there, you get a somatic response. The same somatic response you had when this first occurred. And what I mean by a somatic response is the nervous system's kicking back in because the nervous system actually has the memory in the body. So if you were a witness to your parents fighting all the time and it made you very anxious, your nervous system is holding on to that anxiety. Maybe on a very low level, you're not even aware of it, but it's like chronic low level stress. But if you, as an adult, hear somebody arguing, it could trigger that nervous system anxiety that you felt as a child when your parents used to fight. And then your nervous system reacts in the same way it reacted when your parents are fighting. So maybe you ran to your room, so you run away from those situations. Maybe you shut down, you just got quiet, then you're going to do the same somatic response in the current situation when it triggers the old memory. If you felt a need to fight back, argue, step in, you might do the same. So it's because the memory that's being triggered is not just the emotional response to it or the way you perceived it, but it's also a somatic response. So in order to release yourself from these somatic responses, what's locked in the nervous system, you have to find a different way to see that memory. You have to come to a place of contentment, satisfaction, a place of peace, and a place of acceptance of what you perceived in that memory. Most of the time, what we perceive is a feeling of unlovability, or that we're not safe, or someone we love is not safe, or you just basically have a fear that something's going to happen because of the energies around you, the way people are acting around you, and it locked into your nervous system. You're waiting for something to go wrong. Once it's locked into your nervous system and you have never resolved it, it's still in your nervous system. It's recorded there. So it's a memory recorded in your consciousness. It goes into your cells. It affects your nervous system. So everything's working together, your mind, your body, and your soul. That's why they always say there's a mind, body, soul connection, because it's constantly working with each other. So in order to balance all that, in order to come to a place of peace, these old memories that are still active in your subconscious and repressed memories that are in your unconscious mind that you're not aware of, they have got to be healed. You have got to come to a place of peace with them if you don't want to have these reactive responses, and they're called knee-jerk reactions. So which means is your body's going to shift in that moment. Your mind might cause some kind of worry. Old thoughts and feelings start to arise, and it may have nothing to do with the current situation, except that that current situation was a trigger to the old memory. So you might be overly reactive to a current situation, and that's because you still have unresolved memories from the past. Now, how do you resolve them? Sometimes I tell people, try going into meditation to bring up the memory and then bring a lot of love and healing to the whole situation. Now, your first response is going to be, how are you feeling? Like, what did it do for you in that moment? Did it cause you to run away, shut down? Did you get scared? Did you get sad in the moment? These feelings, these emotions are still locked inside of you. So that's what you want to heal, are all the emotions around it, because the memory, you could say facts are facts, but they're only your facts because it's the way you perceive the memory. So the facts are important to you, but what's more important is, how did the memory make you feel and how is it affecting you? So in order to reframe it and to change your perception, look at the whole picture and just keep telling yourself that this went wrong for me because it was going wrong for everybody involved. So if it's a situation where parents were fighting, they were going through something and they were trying to resolve it. And the only way they knew in that moment how to resolve it was to be reactive with each other, because they actually have old memories that are being triggered. If you saw something that was traumatic, send love to the situation, tell yourself it's over, and just say to yourself, this is a new day. This is the current moment. I can see it differently so I can move on with my life. As difficult as that is, try to understand that if you keep doing that and keep doing it, eventually you're going to come to a place of peace. But you have to be able to tap into it and feel the emotions of it. So you could say to yourself, okay, I feel all this. I wouldn't allow myself to feel it back then. I was too sad, too upset. It was too traumatic. I didn't have the coping skills. I was too vulnerable. So I shut it all out and I repressed it. Now the feelings have got to surface and they've got to be dealt with. But you don't have to go through severe reaction to it. You can bring peace to it. If that's not working because these are really traumatic memories, then I highly recommend you seek out a practitioner that can help you work with traumatic memories, to help you work through them. Because what's happening is, even though they're old memories and we all know that they are from another time, we all know they're over now. The thing is, they're not over for that part of us that's trapped in the memory still. We're trapped in the emotions because we didn't heal the emotions to the memory. So whether it was some kind of fear response, a sadness, a resentment, some anger, a feeling of not being lovable enough, not being wanted in the world, not being acceptable, or fear that something's going to happen to somebody else, that is going to affect us today if we don't heal the emotions that we felt back then. If they're deeply suppressed or repressed and we don't work through them, they will get triggered. So memories are from the past and we know it on an analytical level, but there are parts of us that are still trapped in old memories because we've never come to a place of peace with them. So what I'm sharing with you today is you have to come to peace with these memories. Now, here's the thing. A lot of times, and I see this a lot with clients, they tell me, oh, I remember that and I made peace with it. But they're doing it from a very analytical, logical mind, which means they haven't dealt with the emotions of it. It's the emotions that are really trapped in the body. It's the emotions that are affecting the nervous system, not the way you perceived it and the facts according to your mind, but the emotions that are attached to it. That's what's causing all the triggers. So even though on a logical, analytical type of level of mind, you get it. It's an old memory. You did your forgiveness work. You understand it. You realize everybody did the best they could, or this kind of stuff happens, or it was traumatic to see a car accident. It was traumatic to be in a car accident. But what if the fear response and the emotions are still locked inside of you? That's what needs to be healed. And if it's not, if you didn't come to that place of peace and acceptance that this is a memory and it is over because the emotions haven't been dealt with, then it can be easily triggered. So what I'm sharing with you today is all about memories and how we react or respond to them. Many of us do have memories that are not very pleasant. Growing up is not easy. We are dealing with challenges every day, but also the people around us are dealing with challenges every day. They also have memories and they're reacting. They have knee-jerk reactions. They have stuff trapped in their nervous system. So what happens is now their memories are affecting us if we're small children and we don't understand memories. So we think that something must be wrong with us because they're so reactive toward us. What's really happening is it's all unconscious, it's knee-jerk reactions, it's their nervous system locked into some kind of an emotional crisis. They're trapped. So when you could look back at the memory, and also keep in mind that it's still your perception. It doesn't mean that's the way it happened. So don't look at it like this is how it must have happened. Look at it like this is the way I perceived it. I perceived it at a level of consciousness I was at when this event occurred. But now I'm a wise adult and I could see the memory differently. I could see why it had to happen. It happened that way. This is the way life is. But what are the emotions I attached to it? And how did those emotions make me feel about who I am? Is it making me feel unsafe in the world? Is it making me feel unlovable, disconnected? Is it making me run away from certain things in life? Is it causing limitations in my life? Is it keeping me from reaching my goals and living my best life? Most likely, yes. If you have unresolved emotional trauma locked into your memories in your unconscious mind, then yes, it's going to affect the way you navigate your life now. It's going to work against your most passionate desires. It's going to keep you in conflict. It's going to keep you in fear. So in order to move forward, these memories have to be dealt with because they are just memories, but the emotions attached to them have not been dealt with. And that doesn't mean you didn't want to. You could have been too vulnerable. You could have been in shock. You could have been too young. You didn't have that conscious ability. You just didn't have the coping mechanisms at the time, but you do now. As an adult, you have all the coping mechanisms you need, but sometimes you can do it on your own. Sometimes you need a facilitator. But the most important thing for you is to heal those memories, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this video. And what I do want to say is please like, please subscribe, and please share if you think it'll help somebody. Many blessings.